In our solar system, there are 8 planets. They have different names and different characteristics. There are things we can learn about each one that makes them a little bit special. After this video, you will be able to name the 8 planets and describe something about them. So let's get started learning about planets.
A planet travels around the sun. It does not make its own light or heat. There are 8 planets. They are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Each planet has its own orbit around the sun. The planets closer to the sun make shorter orbits. The planets farther from the sun have longer orbits.
So, 8 planets. What do we know about them? Well, there are 8, and a planet travels around the sun. It does not make its own light. So there are 8 of them. Here we go. Venus, Mercury, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Lots of them. Each planet has its own orbit around the sun, so it goes differently. And the planets closer to the sun, well, they are making a shorter orbit. They go faster. But the planets farther away, they have a longer orbit. It takes longer to go around the sun because they're so far away. Well, that's what we know about the 8 planets. So, the shorter planets, they are shorter distance from the sun, so they have a shorter rotation. But the planets that are farther away, they take longer to go one trip around the sun. Earth is kind of in the middle. Do you remember some of the planet names? Mercury, Mars, that's 2. Mercury, Mars, and Jupiter and Venus. Let's practice 2 planet names for pronunciation. Say it after me. Mercury, Mercury. Jupiter, Jupiter. Excellent.
The planets are put into 2 groups. The first 4 planets are closest to the sun. These are called the inner planets. The outer planets are farthest from the sun. Mercury is the closest planet to the sun. Venus is covered with thick yellow clouds. Venus is the hottest planet. Earth is the only place we know where there is life. Mars has a red rocky surface. Jupiter is the largest planet. Saturn is nearly as big as Jupiter. Uranus is very cold. Neptune is the blue planet.
So, what are the planets like exactly? What's Ling Ling telling you? There are 2 groups. So the first 4 are closest to the sun. These are called the inner planets. Okay, they're close to the sun. The outer planets are the other ones. They're farthest from the sun, farther away. Mercury is the closest planet to the sun. It's close. Then there's Venus, which is covered with thick yellow clouds, okay? Venus is the hottest planet, so hot. And Earth is the only place we know where there is life, so people can live there. Mars has a red, rocky surface. Jupiter is the largest planet, so big. Saturn is nearly as big as Jupiter, also big. And Uranus is very cold. Neptune is the blue planet. It looks blue. Wow, now we went through all 8 planets. Can you remember some of their characteristics? Neptune, the blue planet. Jupiter, the big planet. Venus, covered in gas. And Mercury, closest to the sun. Mars has red, dusty, dirty-looking planet. And Earth, our planet, the only planet we know that has life. Wow, the planets.
A massive explosion called the Big Bang formed the universe. It produced huge amounts of dust and gas. Masses from dust grew larger over time. One mass of gas became the sun. The remaining dust and gas became the planets of the solar system.
So, how are the planets formed? What's the history of the planet? Well, they were formed in the Big Bang. Whew, a massive explosion, huge explosion. It produced huge amounts of dust and debris, and the dust grew larger over time, wow, into masses of dust, and one mass of gas became the sun. That was the first part. And the remaining dust and gas became the planets. That's the history, how they developed. The planets of our solar system developed from the Big Bang. I see. Let's talk about that word as well. Solar system. Pronounce it after me. Solar system. Solar system. Great. It's 2 words. Solar means around the sun, and system is everything we're talking about rotating around the sun. The planets are in our solar system, and they started from the Big Bang, the massive explosion. That's where planets came from, the history of the planets. So, there are 8 planets. What do you think is your favorite planet? Maybe you like Neptune because it looks blue and pretty like water. Maybe you like Earth, our planet, because we live here and it's the perfect temperature for life. Maybe you like Mercury because it's hot and so close to the sun. Do you remember the planet that has lots of red dust? What's that one called? It's the one that's closest to Earth, and we see it in the news sometimes because we try to send spaceships and satellites there. It's called Mars. Mars is the planet that's closest to Earth, and we can send satellites there. Really interesting. People who study this are called astronomers. They are like astronauts in terms of they study what's going on in our solar system. Now, can you think of another planet and some of their characteristics? Maybe Jupiter. What's Jupiter famous for? Is it a small planet? No, Jupiter is a big planet. Wow. Okay, do you remember we can divide planets into 2 categories? Inner planets and outer planets. What's the difference? Inner planets are the 4 planets closest to the sun. Outer planets are the 4 planets farthest away. So inner and outer defines the planets easily. Wow, we've covered a lot of stuff of the material in the solar system. And this video introduced you to all the different planets. It told you their names and their characteristics and some things to help you remember each one. Now, you can remember some of the planets.